Well, good evening to each of you. God bless you and thank you once again for joining us for our midweek service or our Bible study. I'm yet excited because God has been good to us this month. Today is January the 31st, and the blessings of God has been upon our lives. He's been sure enough good to us, and we can testify that there is no other God like ours, even if we just talk about 2023, of how he's kept us and protected us. But not only has he kept us and protected us, he's blessed us beyond what we deserve even now. And he's continued to give us a word to continue to enlighten us. Well, last week, amen, we are still talking about mindset. But last week, we started talking about the money mindset. The money mindset. I know some of you all that joined us on Comfort Call heard some of it, but we had technical difficulty last week with our Facebook Live. Amen. But I know this is so vital. It is so important because I believe that the reason why some of us struggle is because of our mindset as it relates to money, as it relates to finance. And let me say this where I cannot stress it enough. I never believed that we had a money problem, but I've always believed that we have a management problem. And a lot of that management problem is because of our mindset. And your mind gets set according to the environment that you're in, according to the teaching that's being taught to you. And there's a lot of things that we've been taught about money that has put us in some stages of frustration. It's put us in stages of where we thought money ruled us. But in actuality, we're supposed to rule money. You got to know that money was designed to be our servant and never our master. It's your mindset that determines whether you are rich or poor. I know that the environment that we've been in, it does not give us justice of how we should handle money, because throughout our lives there's been categories as it relates to money and people. But you got to understand that man will put you in a category, but God never does. The knowledge that God has given us is for all of his people. It's for those that know how to graft it and to apply it to their lives. I want you to understand. I want you to hear me well. God never have a problem with money. I don't care how many of his children has struggled and became frustrated concerning money. I don't care how many of us live from paycheck to paycheck or whatever the case might be. I want you to know God never has a problem with money. And that's why it's so important that we learn the money mindset, because money has purpose. And there are so many Christians today who struggle with a belief that it's not possible to be both rich and spiritual. Somehow, we tend to create a separation between finance, abundance, and spiritual growth. The environment we in. We separate our spiritual growth with finance abundance. I want you to understand something. And this is the reason why God don't have a problem with money. Nobody is created poor. As a matter of fact, God is not glorified by our poverty. How can the kingdom of God advance if all the Christians are poor? So to change our money mindset, we got to first recognize that money is not good or bad by itself. It's just a tool. In fact, money is more often used to do good than bad. Can you imagine how much of an impact we can really make if we had the right money mindset? Because whatever we do and however we do it, it's going to cost us some money in some form or fashion. We cannot sit up in this house and be comfortable when it's cold outside or comfortable when it's hot outside if money didn't pay the bills. Like it is in your own house or in your own life. You know, I was discussing this with some friends of mine, and when we was just talking about money in general and how people that has a whole lot of money don't worry about stuff that we worry about. Matter of fact, when you are million and billionaires, you don't even worry about how much money you got in the bank. Because when you are controlling money and money is not controlling you, all you need is access. All you need is a connection. And we are so blessed, believers, because we got access to God and we're connected to his son. There is sufficient money around for everyone to enjoy, and that even including you and I. You got to understand that money can be made, it can be used to make positive change in the world. It can be made to make positive change in our community. But you know what? Everybody else understand investment. Everybody understand dividends. Everybody understand growth. When it comes to Christians, please don't allow your emotion to override your knowledge as it relates to money. Because you're going to need that money to impact. We got young people, and the reason why some of us cannot help them is because we don't have the money. We got young people that are doing crime, and they're being locked up in certain areas because of certain things, because of a lack of money. They have to join the system. And then there are some that has access to a certain amount of money. So they don't join a system, they make the system. Y'all will catch it later. There are young people that school, the tutors are too high to have the money. And it causes them an effect on their life. I'm just trying to give you some examples of how money can be sufficient enough to make positive impacts. You got to also look at this. Money I got to say it slow because some folks can't get it. Money is not something that you should look for. But money ought to be looking for you. Let me say it again. Money is not something you should be looking for. but money ought to be looking for you. Let me help you with it. Let me help you. Especially when we talk about in this world. Because in this world, there are folks looking for the best. Whatever skills that you have, or whatever area that you're good in, they're looking for the best. And because they're looking for the best, they're willing to pay for the best. Okay? Tell somebody that's money. But you will never be a part of that group if you don't have the right mindset. In ministry, I try to say very little about money because of our mindset. You know how it is. You know what the saying is. All that preacher wants is your money. But I've discovered the more I give my leader, the more blessed I become. Because I control money, and when I give it money, I put a responsibility on the money that I give. You got to remember, if you're not giving that money a responsibility, then that money is controlling you, and you not controlling it. I want you to understand, I hadn't always had this mindset about money. But as we grow, we ought to be able to grow into knowledge and to mature to the point where, how many of y'all remember when you used to go to church, you ball your money up and put it in the plate? But how many of you remember when it came to giving, you was shy, shamed, because you saw somebody else giving 20s and you were just giving ones? If we got the mindset of money and we understood that we are master over the money and the money is not masters over us, then you shouldn't be shamed, because it's not about the money. It's about money mindset that's keeping us back from the fruits of God's blessings in our life. You got to understand something. Money is a vehicle. And that vehicle is for the advancement of God's kingdom here on earth. Prosperity is a right for every child of God. Let me say it again. Prosperity is a right for every child of God. So, as money is a vehicle for advancement of God's kingdom, it's his desire for us to live a rich and fulfilled life. It's God's desire for us to live a rich and fulfilled life. You want to know something? Some of the most, well, should I say some of the biggest problems that we have in life is because of money. Come on now. You wouldn't be as tired as you are tonight if you hadn't been working trying to make some money. Your marriage would be in a better state if you did not have to worry about money. Your children could be further along if you did not have to worry about money. And you know what? In the church, there's two things that church folk don't want to talk about. Y'all want to know what those two is? It's almost a sin. Money and sex. And you love both of them. But you don't want to talk about it because you don't have the knowledge of how either one of them work. You've been in an environment where the mindset that you have did not consist of the knowledge of either. Bad teaching is just like no knowledge. And that's why we struggle. That's why we struggle as a believer. That's why we watch others and wonder and wish we could be in their state. We struggle and we're frustrated because there's been a trend that's been set among us. We was not taught about giving, nor was we taught about money and how it operates, and we wasn't taught about tithing. And because of that, it has caused our lives to be frustrated. I know some folks that don't go nowhere near the church. Used to work at this plant, and there was folks that always talking to me because I was a preacher and saying, Reb, I don't go to church, but my tithe do. Know why? Because there was knowledge given them of the importance of tithes. But our environment caused our mindset to be corrupt because all that preacher wants is your money. I wouldn't give the church all my money. And that mindset is simply because of bad teaching or a wrong environment. But you got to know something. It's his desire for us to live a rich and fulfilled life. Fulfillment in life can only happen when you impact the lives of others through selfless service. Got to understand something. Wealth is a factor to achieve this because you cannot give what you don't have. Here's what I've discovered. The reason why I can live free is because I don't worry about what I don't have. But I do give to God what I have. I don't try to compare with those over there or those over there. I stay in my lane and I give what God has blessed me with. But one of the things that I purpose in my heart is that I won't cheat God. I'm not going to have something that he's asking for and not give it to him. And because of that, I understand that money is important. And it's an important vehicle that helps us make our lives better. Not only that, it helps makes our life purpose a reality rather than an impossible dream. You got to know something. God has not called you for small things, and the journey he's taking you on in this life will take a huge amount of supernatural provision. I want you to think about it. You got to know your divine purpose comes with a large price tag. You got to understand something about God. See, because if you don't have the right money mindset, then you cannot understand God. He don't do cheap stuff. Every purpose he gave you, it costs. You got to know what it cost him. And if you can understand what it cost him, where money could not pay it, then giving money is nothing to him. You got to understand something. Most of our financial conflict has nothing to do with how much money we have, but rather our attitude toward money and how we handle it. You know what I've discovered? Folks that ain't never had no money have a problem when they get money. Let me say it again. Folks that ain't never had no money, they try to hold on to every dime they got. But when you get used to it and understand how it operates, it's never a problem. Please know that you should always save. But my philosophy is this: I'm saving, but at the same time, I'm going to live a life of fulfillment. Because I can't take this with me. I've been to a lot of funerals. I've been to some folks that had it going on funerals. I done did a lot of funerals. But the only thing I ever saw behind the hearse was the family car with live folks in it. I never seen them pulling their materialistic stuff to bury them with them. I never seen that. So I'm just going to take everything I got with me. What are you talking about, Pastor? After I'm gone, whatever is left is not mine. Everything I go with is what I got. Okay? Because I can't enjoy money dead. Hey, y'all will get that on the way home. You got to understand this. No amount of money will make life. Life, meaning, is found in our relationship with God and discovering our divine purpose. So when we allow money to influence our decision, we're likely to make a poor decision. Got to understand, let me remind you again, money was designed to be our servant, never our master. It's to be used to honor God and to fulfill that which he has called us to do and to become. Having a prosperous perspective on money is the first step to solving financial conflict. Let me say it again. Having a prospered or a proper perspective on money is the first step to solving financial conflict. We got to get to the point where we replace false assumption with the true one. You got to realize in your life that you are destined for greatness, but it all depends on whether you believe in yourself or not. God will give you a lot of ideas to generate wealth when you're in a position for change. See, your new mindset will be open to ideas which you're going to recognize as a potential wealth generator. It's all about your belief system. It's all about your belief system. So here's what we got to learn to do. We got to reprogram our mind as it relates to money. Our text scriptures is Ephesians 4 and 23. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Reprogram your mind. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Money is a big issue that affects everyone. And that's why Jesus spent so much time talking about money. Everybody want to prosper and have plenty of money. The Bible said God has given us the power to obtain wealth. Until we change our mindset and we bag it with action, we're going to continue to struggle financially. Because the poor firmly believe that God created them that way. They've been taught the term like filthy rich or stinking rich, which refer to those who are blessed financially. Y'all want to know how I know the poor think that way? Y'all ever heard them pray? God, this your poor weekend I'm going to serve you. Whole weekend I'm going to serve. I just believe that the servants of God ought not to be poor. Come on. How am I going to serve God and be poor? Because when I do my research, even when I do research concerning Jesus during his time on earth, the robes that he wore was expensive. Why y'all think they was gambling for him? The sandals that he wore was expensive. But because of the mindset, because of the environment we've been in, we've been taught how to operate in a poor environment. And we bring that same mentality into God's house. The same poor mentality that we have in our house, we want to bring it into God's house. And then we condemn whoever want to talk about money. You know, last week I was on comfort call, and while I was on comfort call, when I announced my subject of what I was going to talk about, I started hearing people hang up. You know, it's funny to me that, you know, I had to learn this. Funny to me that the people that need the most are the ones that don't want to hear it. You got to understand a few things. God has placed inside each and every one of us the potential and ability to harness and create wealth for ourselves and for him. But our mindset limits us. And that is why so many Christians fail to fulfill their financial destiny because of our mindset. Can you imagine if they had taught us about tithe in Sunday school when we was 6 and 7 years old, like the other folks did? Can you imagine if they had taught us the importance of controlling money? See, that's why a lot of us waste money, because we don't know how to control money. It's just like what I said last week. You got to learn how to go in the store and keep your money in your pocket. I can go shopping, and I guess I'm getting old because I do like the old men. I can go sit in the mall in the middle of the aisle. I don't know them benches. Or I can find a bench inside the store and sit down. Better yet, I can do like I've seen so many do. Go sit in the truck in the parking lot like a lot of other men do. Y'all think they don't want to come in the store? No, we saving money. You have to teach yourself how to control the money. It's the same thing that I keep saying about going to the grocery store. When you go to the grocery store, make out you a list. When you go shopping, make out you a list. I just need shoes. I just need a pair of pants and a dress. Because if you don't, when you go in there, you're going to come out with stuff that you probably already got at home. Truth be told, I'm just telling off on myself. I don't really need no more shoes, but I like shoes. Sometimes I look in the closet and forgot, man, I didn't know I had these. I know I'm not the only somebody. But you got to learn how to do this. You got to learn how to create a mindset of abundance. It's the mindset of an individual that determines whether that person will be rich or poor. Because you're the only person who can prevent yourself from achieving financial freedom. God desires for us to live a prosperous life, which includes success in every area of your life. Mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. You need to see how wrong thinking in the past has kept you stuck in poverty with a poverty mindset. See, the word teaches us that we need to transform our mind because God wants us all to increase our faith for prosperity. Money is nothing more than a minimal that people use in exchange for good or service and was never meant to become a security against hunger or life. And it's just like with everything else. The deceiver of this world has transformed what was good into bondage for mankind. As I wind this down, what was meant for a simple payment system has been used by the devil to place people in bondage. He's transformed it into a statement of our security and made it a benchmark of our success. Money has become the key element in our lives for all things that are perceived as necessary for our divine purpose. So many Christians think they're living for God, but they're actually living for money. And you got to know that was never God's intention for his chosen people. And I'm going to stop right there. Because you really can't give too much about money until our mindset change. You got to change it. You got to work on it. It's got to be something you practice every single day. So what, you didn't know it when you was a child? Thank God that January the 31st, 2023 showed up, that God can give me knowledge to help me to become better. So what? I wasted money. I have an opportunity to make good on that. So what? I didn't understand. I grew up in a church where they did not teach this. Now you're in one that does. We got to be open. In order to get our mindset changed, we got to be open to knowledge. We got to be ready to change. God is not just going to shift everything around us without shifting our thought pattern. We keep saying, I want this from God and I want this from God. But you got to understand, there's something that God wants from you as well. We here at United Faith are going to faith forward. But in order for us to faith forward, we got to change our mindset. It's a must. United Faith, if we're going to see what God really got in store for us, we got to change our mindset. I thank God that he never allowed me as a pastor to compare with other churches or either compete with other churches. Because I believe that God is big enough to serve both of us. I believe that if he's given me a vision and he's given that church over there a vision, then God is big enough to fulfill both visions. How big is your God? You only can see what God can do according to the mindset that you have. I know we've heard so many sermons about mindset, how we need to shift this, how we need to think like this, how we need to do this and do that. Even as it relates to money. Why would God allow you the strength to get up and go to work every morning? Let you go through that whole day. Then come Friday, you don't know how to manage what he's blessed you to do. This right here is bigger than church. Let me tell you why it's bigger than church. Because if you had this knowledge when it came to the church, no big issue. You struggling and giving, you got a money mindset problem. And that major problem is you don't understand money. You don't understand that you're supposed to control it. If you waiting, if your goal, and I'm finished, if your goal is to work all year and get an income tax check, you don't understand money. If you are in a stage, I'm just trying to help some folks because I'm finished. If you're in a stage where you get paid on Friday and broke on Monday, you got a money mindset problem. My prayer is that especially for United Faith, especially, my prayer is that we learn how to live off the 70-30 rule. 10% for God. 10% for saving. 10% for investment. And live off the 70%. As you don't understand, I got kids, I got this, I got that. Doesn't matter. You got to change your thinking. You ain't got to starve. You just got to change your thinking. Because I guarantee you, if you would take a survey of your life, 10% of your money, you throwing it away somewhere. Can I go a little further? If you keep adding, you're going to find that other 20% where you wasted in some form or fashion. Well, God bless you, and I pray that you've been blessed by the word on tonight. It's always a joy to be able to come and share with you. My prayer is that each time that you hear a word that's coming that is enlighten your life, is causing you to become better in some form. That's our goal. That's our prayer. I want to remind you of a few things. I want to remind you that we're entering into our Black History Month. And every Sunday, right here in the house, we're going to be doing a moment in Black history. We want to invite you to join us. Because here's the deal. I've learned that a lot of time, because we don't know where we came from, we struggle on where we're going. And I firmly believe that that's the reason why a lot of our young people are struggling, because they don't have a clue where they came from. That's why a lot of them don't vote, because they don't know the struggle before voting was as free and possible as it is today. I want to encourage you to join us each Sunday for that. And on the third Sunday, we're bringing back what we used to do, and that is we want to bring some food from back in the day. You know, what grandmama and them used to cook. Grandmama and them did this because it was survival. And it's always good to reflect back, and then we can always appreciate where we're going. Also want to encourage you to join us every Saturday morning for our weekly prayer. Every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., we're on comfort call, 1-848-220-3300. Dial the code 317-8810. That's every Saturday at 9 a.m. We're collectively praying and asking God, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. God bless you is our prayer. I want you to know that united we stand, and with faith, all things are possible. Be blessed until next time.